Welcome everybody to the first Tree Woman Tales. And I am so excited to be here with the beautiful, gorgeous, young tree woman, Emma Bryant. Yes, she is probably the youngest tree woman I'll have on my show.
Really? I'm 29, I'm 30 in a few months.
Well, that's perfect because your life is been very complex from what I read.
Yeah, that to say the least.
Yeah, and your wisdom, your branches of wisdom have already grown quite long, and you've got some limbs out there.
Oh, yeah, well, you can say that again.
Yeah, and you've got some good roots now, don't you, dear? Because so many of your experiences have not been wonderful.
Yeah,
And
not been so good.
And we both know that you really only learn from the bad things.
Yeah, that's what I've always thought. You literally learn from the bad stuff. Like, I'm so much more mature. I used to think I was like really mature when I was 23, 24, but no, I wasn't. I definitely feel more like, yeah, like an adult now, perhaps.
But
just
an
turning
interesting
30.
adult. You
Finally
are
an
an
adult.
interesting alternative adult.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
so tell us about your early yearnings, the things that you wanted to do and the things you ended up doing, and don't leave out the dark stuff, because as we agree, that's the interesting things.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I'd always wanted to work like as an actress or as a comedian since I was a little kid. Like, I did drama in school. I come from a very academic background. My mum was a lawyer. Say was, as if she's not with us anymore. She's retired now. But yes, I've always loved drama. Luckily, I've always been quite academic, so I got good grades when I was in school and I did my A-levels. And I could have gone to university, but I kind of, I think my mum wanted me to study law, but then I stayed closest to where I was because I didn't want to live at a uni or anything. And I got an advanced diploma in business management, which was quite cool because I was only 18. And then I got my first job in a law firm, actually, not through my mum. I got that one on my own, as a legal secretary and a receptionist, which was really nice, actually. I did like it. But yeah, I always wanted to do something a little bit more. And then then I went on to be the manager of an insurance, I'd say the manager of the firm, the manager of that particular branch when I was 21. So that's quite a young age, but that was such a responsibility. Like, it just was, because it was like it was like 7 people, I think, who was in the office, but yeah, it was quite a bit much, but luckily the people I worked with were really nice, so they helped me a bit. And then I got scouted by a modelling agency, which was really cool, even though modelling wasn't the thing I wanted to do, because I've always wanted to do acting and comedy. But I kind of was like, ooh, this could be a great sort of foot in the door, if that makes sense, because I was getting invited to all these networking parties, and there was some big parties, like national newspapers, there was there was lots.
So
and it was
you
all
had
in
that
London.
That kind of fun, more a high vibey show business thing happening.
Yeah, and then the company that I worked for, so I was doing a little bit of part-time modelling, but it was catalogues that were kind of local. But that's good, because the first shoot I did was not a time for print where you used to build up your portfolio. The very first shoot I ever did was actually for a catalogue for Clubwear. I'm going to sneeze. Okay.
We both have terrible allergies.
Yeah,
we don't have the corona or anything.
We don't have the Roni. No, that's better. But yeah, my company relocated to somewhere just outside of London. I think it was Hemel Hempstead. And obviously I couldn't go with them because I was living just outside Bristol. I was only 21, so that's kind of far. So I got another little part-time job after that in an office. But then luckily I was getting more modelling work, and then I made the decision to actually try and pursue it full-time. And I was lucky because I was living at home with my parents, so I didn't have to pay rent or anything. But yeah, to cut a long story short, it took off. And then in 2013, that was when it took off, 2013, and then I moved in with my friend Dave, who lived just outside of London, which was great for me because he was in the industry too. So it was I got to meet so many people, and it just went from there, that like just kind of moved up, and it happened very, very quickly that I had quite a lot of success. And it's really stupid because there was lots of people that really didn't like me. And the thing is, it's so unprovoked because I didn't actually do anything. Like, I am not a confrontational person in the slightest. Like, I'm not assertive or aggressive. I mean, like, oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Can you pause it? Because it's just like I'm sneezing.
I'm having a tough time with the sun in my eyes.
It looks good though.
Darling, you want some Kleenex?
Yeah, please.
I know, I'm sure I have some in here. Isn't it funny how...
Oh, this is sanitizer.
Here they are, here they are.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, I could
they're
use
clean,
that.
honey, they're all clean.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, just give me one. That's great.
Me too.
Oh, I just
I'm
put...
so glad somebody has allergies besides
Yeah,
me.
I get
I'm
it
so
really
sorry
bad.
you have them.
Oh, it's annoying, but that's all right. Oh. God, there's still more.
It must be maybe something here in the heath.
Maybe, yeah. Possibly.
I wish I didn't have to look in the sun like I'm doing, but that's okay. What, Richard, are you thinking? Oh, okay.
Cool, let me
Okay.
get back. And we'll go from me saying I had quite a lot of success quite quickly.
Yeah, okay.
Define, sorry to interrupt, can you define what success was and what it meant?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. So,
Oh, yeah.
so as you evolve,
Just let me know when
so,
we're
okay.
filming.
Okay.
Hang on, one moment, sorry.
Okay. So, darling, let me ask you this. I mean, this is an important story because there's so many young women, you know, who actually don't get anywhere, but you did.
Yeah,
And
I guess.
And you had opportunities thrown at you, you know, and you were meeting well-known people, famous people. I know you were in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people hated me for that.
Okay, so
Like it was my fault.
This is more when I'm interested in more, you know, I'm very happy that you had success.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But how one of your age deals with it is a whole nother thing, you know, because there's all sorts of negatives you can get dragged into and beliefs you can have about how it's going to serve you in your life, and it ends up being empty a lot of the time.
That's true. That's true for me as well.
And so first I want you to address, so when the people that you were, so you're saying that a lot of your friends were jealous of your
Not my
success.
friends, people that I barely even knew.
Really? So they didn't think you deserved it or something?
I don't know. People are like, oh, she's weird, she's ugly, and all this. I'm like, well, I can't be that bad because I'm getting shot by big American companies, you weirdos.
Oh, no, you have an alternative beauty that's stunning.
Oh, thank you very much, and so do you. But yeah, I don't know, I was kind of like, I wasn't so nice to everyone. And I used to work really hard. Like, I wasn't one of those people that just sat around waiting for like a phone call, here's a job. There's lots of people that I met, models, even photographers, were like, oh, my agent will do this for me, or oh, I'm lazy and all this. But I used to gap, I used to bulk email. When I first got in the industry, I bulk emailed like everyone and was like, here's pictures, this is me, blah, blah. I'm not a time waster.
This is hard work.
Yeah.
So you're saying you weren't afraid of hard work?
I'm not afraid of hard work. And because I write well, you know, I'm not just sending somebody a message on Facebook going, hi, hun, want to shoot or something
Last
like
night
that.
when I was reading all your blog and
Oh.
everything on your website, I was going,
Amazing.
this girl can write. She actually
Oh.
is can write articulately and
Oh.
with feeling.
Thank
There
you.
was so much there. I think sometimes because you're lovely and sweet and blonde that people perceive you differently than actually you are. And
A couple of times.
Yeah, you can't go and say, go read my blog and you'll see I'm an intelligent woman, you know, who works hard, you see? So how did that affect you then as you moved into, you know, your mid-20s, say? Did you just live with it and say, who cares? Or,
well, what with people being jealous and nasty?
yeah.
I just like kind of laughed at them a little bit because it's like, it's so mundane. And these people that were older than me, because I was about, well, how old was I when I got into it? 22? No. Yeah, about 22 and a half, nearly 23, I think. And yeah, it's sad because quite a lot of people were like in their mid-30s or very late 20s. I'm like, why are you so bitter and angry towards someone who's like 6-7 years younger than you that you've only really spoke to on Twitter? It's a bit weird.
Perhaps that you would threaten them in some way.
I mean, not weird. I mean, you know, each to their own. Everyone's different. I'm not going to judge. If they want to spend their time doing that, that's cool. It's okay. Some people are just more strange and jealous than others.
Would you say that? Would you say that? As a child, you had a certain confidence that you carried with you through your entire
I was a bit overconfident as a child.
Did you have a sort of a basic innate confidence that then people started trying to erode?
A bit. I mean, like, I never fell out with anyone when I was a kid. I've always like had friends, and I was quite confident. I think my parents would probably say I was a little bit arrogant, but as a child, like, not as an, well, I don't know, because I don't know, just like a lot of the people I was friends with, like, were really encouraging, but would like say everything I was doing was fantastic even if it wasn't. So I think towards my late teens, especially when I got into management roles, that it was confidence bordering on arrogance, and thankfully now I'm confident but not arrogant. In fact, I've got quite low self-esteem and I don't really mind people knowing that, but it's because I've been through two very abusive situations, two completely different ones.
I was leading up to that, and I definitely want you to talk about that. We've got some background on you now, and where your heart was moving towards, you were having more serious relationships, probably having, and falling in love, maybe say, and so what was the first one and leading into the second one?
No. The second one I can't say too much about because there's still been some ongoing stuff with the police and court, but I think that's for the most part is done. Not with me being anyone accused, by the way, just to clarify that. But no, the first bad relationship was a boyfriend that I had when I just moved to Kent, which was in it was the end of my first year in the industry, the end of 2013, at a Christmas party. I met him, like, we kind of knew each other anyway. And yeah, everything was great at first, but I'd say after about 4 or 5 months, it got really controlling. He never had money. I wouldn't say he was controlling about my friends or who I saw, though that did progress into that quite a bit. But this guy, oh my God, he was an alcoholic. Pretty sure he was taking drugs. He once called the police because he thought he could see the face of Homer Simpson in his Jaeger bomb. That's true. He actually called the police to my house in Kent. He called Kent police because he thought he could see Homer Simpson in his drink. Oh, and that was like a normal thing to happen. That sort of thing on occasion, like, was a regular occurrence. So that was my reality, being quite young.
Was he critical of you, very critical of
you?
Oh,
super critical of me. I remember he'd always want me to have a fake tan, wear lots of makeup, and that's just not me.
And did you put aside your work to make him happy?
We both worked in the same industry, so working was okay,
kind of
was actually all right. Of course, if I didn't work, I wouldn't have money for him to borrow and not give back and steal. And yeah, he was like, not a nice person at all. And then I found out, he had abused quite a lot of other women. So,
and this is, we're talking pretty much mental abuse, not
physical as well. Physical as well.
Okay, so I wonder where you were doing so well in your career.
Yeah,
it's fascinating
lots of money
to me
as well.
And it's fascinating to me that yet there was this side of yourself that was almost maybe childlike, if I
Oh
may,
yeah, I've got very much
about,
childlike mentality.
how you chose your partners. Now let me
Yeah.
tell you, I've known some very intelligent people
Yeah.
that are way mature in years that have had a staggering amount of wrong choices in partners. It's a complex thing to find that person and then make it work. And I think women, especially, as you say on your blog, you're very sympathetic, you know, to women liking a strong man with a big personality, and that turns on you eventually, and then
Yeah.
you're left remembering who it was in the beginning and how nurturing maybe even they were, and appreciative of you, and then all of a sudden the table turns, and it sounds like not that big a deal compared to lots of other sufferings that people go through.
Yeah.
But it is, because
It erodes away confidence over time.
over time.
Like with me, we were together, I was with him for about two years, give or take. Yeah, and I mean, when I first met him, but the thing is, in a way, I feel that like I grew up quite a lot from that relationship, because when I met him, I didn't have anxiety or depression or anything like that. And by the time I had finished, I was on tablets for anxiety, tablets for depression, I had PTSD, lots of things. And the fact that some people didn't actually believe me, and it's like, but this guy has a reputation for this stuff. And there was one weirdo who says that myself and my ex-partner, I think he said we've never even met, and there's like pictures of me and of the three of us at Christmas parties. I'm like, okay, maybe you want to go see a doctor because you're getting older and maybe dementia is starting to set in.
Well, these are some other issues we could side rail into, which is, you know, how social media and all that is so incorrect a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And people fall victim to it. This is why I have a very tough time with social media, and this is me trying to find a different way to be on social media by discussing issues that are important to me with women that I think have a tale to tell and want to share. I really love the thing you were saying about the that women do talk about abuse, and people say, oh, it's just you being super sensitive. Talk about that a bit, where their victims are criticized rather than supported.
They do. I write for an American magazine, and I've literally just come out an article about victim shaming, because I had that so much.
Victim shaming, yeah.
Quite a lot, actually. People going, oh, why didn't you leave? And I'm like, oh, come on. It's like common knowledge that, well, maybe not for someone who's not been through it, but, you know, people do stay with abusive partners. Like, it's so bad, but, you know, I took him back time and time again.
And I wonder what that is, why we do that.
I don't know, but now I'm doing a course with, I think it's through, it's through Women's Aid. It's called the Freedom Programme, Life After Domestic Abuse, and it's an 8-week course every Thursday, so I've got to do it this evening as well, on Zoom at the moment, not face-to-face. And it's just like, in a way, it's like learning how to live again in the real world after, because I've had 2 huge, like, situations of abuse, so.
In other words, when you first met the first guy, and he was starting to tear you down, you had better self-esteem before you met him.
Way better.
And then he knocked you down a few notches, or a lot of notches. And then you didn't recover probably before you went into the next one.
The next one wasn't quite the same. It wasn't a romantic relationship, but it was a living. I can't say too much about it, but it was an abusive household basically that I lived in, where there was somebody that was like basically terrorising myself and the other person that lived there. Although the other lady who lived there didn't get it quite as bad as I did. I mean. But to be fair, the perpetrator of the second one was very, 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 very similar to my ex, which is mental, to be quite honest. It's crazy. They had so many similar traits, but, you know, it's not that they are similar people. It's, you know, abusers have very similar, they just do in general. have similar traits of like can't let anyone have confidence around them. It always has to be about them. God, this last person, this last one from my old house, oh God, I mean my ex was just a horrible person, right? But this one, there was some psychological issues going on there. There's definitely something, because he wasn't normal. Didn't behave, like there was nothing that was like, it was so obscure and so weird that it like just was scary and horrible. And he threatened physical violence. Unfortunately, when I left that place, it was the police getting me out of the house because there was a physical assault, but I can't really talk about that at the moment. Him assaulting me, by the way, not the other way around. But yeah, I got out of that, thankfully. But you know, now that has been 7 years. I had about probably, I think, a 6-month break in between those two abusive situations, because I moved from Kent after my ex to West Sussex, and then moved into the house where the second round of abuse came from. And I mean, imagine that I had already had that once, then having to go through it again, but with someone I barely
You haven't given
knew.
your heart romantically to this person. It was just
no, but it's hang on, let's move that. But yeah, it was mad. But yeah, I can't talk about that one too much. But
So,
yeah, it was horrifying and disturbing and just weird. I mean, actually, like, this person was mental.
Okay.
Like, I could say some of the things, but I think I've said them in other interviews, so I don't want it to get too repetitive.
Okay.
But put it this way, this guy wanted me to lend him money, £750 a month, so he could buy a pair of pants that were used in one scene of The Matrix. And he wanted to pay it off over 2 years and was like, it's the best business investment you'll ever make. It's the best. You'd be crazy to say no to this, Emma. I'm like, oh, it's like, I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of your future. I'm like, dude, how is giving you £750 a month so that at the end of 2021 you can buy a pair of pants that are probably not what they say they are? It was just some film prop website that he'd been on. Yeah, but I mean, it was
So tell me this, dear.
bizarre.
Would you say one of the songs on my Tree Woman record is called "The Last Enemy," and would you say that now that you've been through these, that you are beginning to be more your own best friend? Are you choosing happiness now?
Yeah, I'm
over
really happy. Oh my God, where I live now, it's just everything that I've wanted in a house. It's just so lovely. Like, I live with the nicest people.
And what about your thoughts? Are you thinking happier thoughts?
I have up and down days, to be honest. I do a lot
Of course, you're human.
Yeah, physical training. Like, I do martial arts, I do wrestling, I do aerial fitness, and I've just qualified to be a yoga teacher. So I really think, it's pretty cool. Actually, only passed Sunday just gone. And I got like probably one of the highest scores. Like, we had 2 exams. The first one, there was literally no criticism at all. It was straight up.
I bet you look gorgeous doing yoga.
Oh, I want to do a yoga photo shoot.
Not that that's important. But
Oh no! And then the second exam I did, which was this big exam, and I was really, really, really nervous. But no, I passed that with like top score too.
So you know, deep in your heart, that you have strength and that you want your life, the rest of it, to be happy.
It will be happy.
And maybe, just maybe, I'm just being, you know, amateur psychiatrist,
Right.
that these experiences were meant to happen to you.
Oh, I think they were meant to happen to me 100%.
To evolve into this tree woman you're becoming, you know?
Oh my God, I know, right? And I got another story too. So basically, some absolute crackpot has become obsessed with me and has been stalking me online and has been contacting, it's really funny, contacting like companies I work for, directors I've worked for, photographers I have worked for, just slandering me basically and sending them links to like old work I've done and going on. And it's like just being really nasty basically, obviously trying to have them drop me from productions or...
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's not worked for anyone. In fact, it's brilliant because one of them, I did have someone that I'm very, very close to. We did have a well, we don't argue because, you know, like, we're mature adults, but we didn't speak for 3 months. And then when he got back in touch with me, I genuinely thought I was never going to hear from him ever again. We're just closer than ever now, and it's like,
Oh, sweet.
he's so nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you, stalker. Now there's no secrets between us, and I can actually not sit here worrying about, oh, what if he finds out something about me that he doesn't like. So yeah, and then the magazine I work for, they tried to ruin that. Well, it just so happens that the lady who owns the magazine has also been a victim of abuse. Therefore, she's just now given me a permanent role in the magazine. So I'm writing for it every single month.
And you're a good writer, dear. I really was
you.
impressed with how you worded things, and it was easy to understand, but it was very articulate. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's an intellectual, and I'm an emotionalist.
Oh.
But, you know, the thing is, you're like the Legally Blonde movie, you know, there's this
I've seen them. I've seen them,
innate
yeah.
intelligence underneath this beautiful body,
Oh.
you know.
But the best one that came recently with this, I think it was the same person, contacted a casting website where I get lots of work from with the same kind of rubbish. And I didn't get dropped from the website. The annoying thing is I've had to make my profile on there private so that only like employers can see, which is a bit annoying, but it's not annoying too much because I can still get work, so it's great. But it means that the pictures are not going to be public on Google, and there's some really, really nice pictures on there, and those pictures on that casting website did used to come up in the first search for Google. If you Google me, they're pictures I like, because I'm trying to bury old pictures of me because I don't like how I look because I was ill, very, very underweight, and just not in a very good frame of mind. So I was like, oh no, gutted. Now my pictures aren't going to come up on the top Google search. So I thought, you know what, something I've been wanting to do and something I might as well do because I've just passed my yoga course. I'm going to make an Instagram account. And I thought that is the best idea because then all my pictures on there will be public. So all my pictures will be public, including the ones that were on the casting website, plus a lot more. Because Instagram does tend to, if you put Emma Bryant Instagram or just Emma Bryant, I found, well, not yet with myself because I've only just got on Instagram, but with other people, you type their names in, their Instagram pictures come up like top for their image results. So I thought, well, yeah, just do an Instagram. And it's brilliant because I've only been on it for 2 days and I've already got somebody, you know, like, what do you call it? I'm still coming to learn this stuff, where they send you products and then you just promote it. So you get free stuff for like taking pictures of yourself with stuff. I've got 2 of those already. And I've only been on for 2 days. So I'm like, yeah, thank you, stalker. Because now I'm on Instagram and I'm still on that other website. So that didn't change anything. It just means my profile's not public. And that's cool. I actually don't mind that at all because I thought, well, it's a bit annoying, but it's not, you know, it's okay, how can I explain it? Every time that person has tried to do something to hinder my career, they've ended up helping me. So I'm getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Oh yeah, and because of that too, I also signed up to other casting websites as a precaution just in case I, for whatever reason, did lose the other one. I'm getting so much work. It's like...
Well, that is... absolutely interesting.
It's brilliant.
It is life where, you know, out of strife and out of difficulties come, you know, the phoenix rises.
Yeah. Oh, the stalker helped me with the yoga too, because when I had the initial, oh my God, one of my closest friends isn't speaking to me, and the director that I work with a lot, it's the same person. I'm very close to a director that I work with a lot, and yeah, when I realised he wasn't talking to me, and I was like, well, something's got to change. I've got to do something big, something that I really, really want. And I thought, what is it that I want? And my mum was saying, well, you know, you should do fitness, you should do yoga. And I thought, you know what, I would. I think my mum was more talking about me being a personal trainer, but I've done yoga for every day for like nearly 4 years. It helped to get me through the really hard times. And I thought, you know what, yes, I am actually going to try to attempt to pursue this. I was very lucky because I managed to get on a course that had just started, so I think I started the course like a few weeks after, so I had a few weeks left to prepare, but that was fine. And I loved it. So it was because, you know, because of that stalker. I wouldn't, because if that hadn't have happened,
that sounds like a
I
song
wouldn't
I
have
should
been
write
I started to
because
wonder
of the stalker.
if it's like someone who is some kind of like weird
manager,
yeah, like spiritual person that is trying to help me.
I understand
or
what you're saying,
what's it called? What's in the film Saw, when they do, you know, have you seen the Jigsaw? It's
No.
basically a film where they do, this guy dresses, well, not dresses, but he like poses as this character called Jigsaw, and he puts people who are ungrateful for their life, or people who have been drug addicts, or people who have been alcoholics, or whatever. He makes something really bad happen to them, so that they'll, when they get out of it, if they have to make a decision to like normally do something bad, and then they'll get out of the trap. He calls them traps,
Okay,
and then
I'll have to
they'll
watch that.
change their life because of it, which is a long description, but it's like that's kind of how I see this stalker person. Is like they did something really bad to me, made me suffer for a little while, and as a result of it, really good things came from
Yeah,
it. So I just want to say, because
the look on your face right now, Emma, you're very, I can see that you're blossoming now, and the darkness has taken taken you down into the snake pit, and you've climbed out, and you're
I'm like the queen of coming back from things. I bounce back from everything, and because I know the stalkers going to be watching, because they watch everything I do. I'm pretty sure that like they're
you bad
just
boy.
refreshing my Twitter page and my Instagram. You should find my Instagram, because like I post on there a lot, so you can have Twitter open in one, YouTube open in another, and Instagram open in another, and hit that refresh button. But yes, stalker, I want to say thank you so much, because my life is like really, really good. I mean, it's pretty good anyway, but
This is taking a nice twist.
even
here.
better now. So
Thanks to stalker.
I don't know what your genders were, but cheers, I guess.
So, honey, now I have
Yeah.
2 more questions to ask you that I'm so pleased. And I know I do want to mention that you're working with some charities. So
Yeah.
just tell briefly about that, because I want to ask you about your heart next.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I work for Refuge UK, which is the biggest women's charity. I'm a spokesperson for them, so I do media interviews, articles, I do case studies as well. So I've like found women to speak to magazines,
Okay.
and I just did, that's actually due out, I think it's December time. I did a big presentation for the Co-op Bank, and it was about the effects of oh no, I can't say the bloody word. Economical abuse, right, and financial abuse. So like the effects that, say, so like for an example, I think they chose me for this because firstly I'm quite good at talking, as you might have noticed, and secondly I have a lot of experience with financial abuse, because my ex-partner was very, very, very financially abusive, and I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't upgrade my phone after. I couldn't get an overdraft on my bank account because my credit went from being so good to being so bad. So I had to talk about this sort of thing. I had to do a whole presentation, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was really good. And I think they're going to release that in written form, I believe, because I spoke to one of the company directors, was it yesterday or at some point earlier this week, and they're very happy with it. And also one of the women, when she left, she went to me, I actually never thought I would leave a meeting about such a serious, heart-wrenching topic and actually be laughing, because I mixed some comedy into it, which I do with everything. And I make I'm not saying I don't joke about domestic abuse, but I add like a comedy twist on things because I'm a comedian.
Okay, so your soul. Do you believe you have a soul?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your heart and your whole evolution in that area. What do you hope for yourself, besides putting aside lots of success, which is great and sometimes not great, but you as a wise person, what you want to do for other people and yourself in that area?
I want to help people that have been through similar situations. I'd say I know more about sort of domestic abuse, but just really help people to know that, you know, it's okay to be yourself. Like I've been told so many times, oh, you should change this, especially in relationships. Oh, I love you, but you could change this about yourself, or why don't you do that, or I love you, but you could get a spray tan once in a while, or I love you, but you could not be a comedian, or although I haven't been the comedian, that's recent years, but that sort of thing. What, or like, you know, if I'm sure that if I'd have stayed with my ex, I wouldn't be an actor. Sorry, I wouldn't be an actress. I wouldn't be a comedian, and I certainly wouldn't have just passed my yoga exams.
Okay.
Because I would have had zero
You're
confidence.
kind of an activist too, a little bit, aren't you? I mean, you're now speaking out for.
Yeah.
So you could add that to your little list.
Yeah. Oh, I also volunteer on a farm, and I'm starting at a new one very shortly as well. But obviously, it's sort of a bit up in the air at the moment. I've not done any volunteering for a little while. I work for Vauxhall City Farm as a volunteer.
Oh, wow.
I love it. It's so amazing. They've got little goats
So you
and
recommend
bunnies.
other people do it?
Yeah,
Sounds
I
like
love
it's almost
volunteer
therapeutic.
work. Yeah, it's so good. And I wrote an article about them for the magazine that I work for. And it's
Now say
so
your
nice.
website so everyone can go to, because it's a really good one.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's just emmabryant.com?
No, it's www.officialemmabryant.com. Link in the description below. I hope you'll put the link in there. Link my Instagram as well, because I've not got as many, maybe just me being a bit vain, but I've got like 66 followers, and I actually thought I'd have a couple of hundred by now, but I'm still figuring out how it works.
Sure.
Oh, and also, I'm not really promoting this, but because it's not happened yet, but it will be happening either later today or tomorrow. I'm setting up a little online shop, because I've got so many nice clothes, but from years ago when I weighed a little bit more than I do now. So I'm selling those. So yeah,
Okay.
And I've been on eBay and like
So
bulk
Emma's
bought
clothes
loads
are going
of
on
stuff.
sale.
Well, it's not all mine. It's stuff because I've like bulk bought. I'm really good at eBay. I'm so good at eBay. I can get the best deals. So I've like bought, what do they call it, bundles or job lots, I think it's called. Like just loads of clothes for like really cheap. Like I think it was 16 dresses the other day for like £8. So imagine how much money I'm going to get, like over £100 for all of
another
that
little
together.
side business.
So
here.
yeah, I've never done anything like that. That is completely new territory
Okay.
for me, but I'm so excited. So I'm doing little photo shoots in my bedroom with, I got a tripod. My housemate recommended to me this really good tripod that he uses when he films himself. So I got that, and I've started taking some pictures of the
on and
clothes.
off
I'm
with
modelling my own, and if I get bored, and don't want to model them, I could always get a mannequin. So we're good. Or one of my fans.
That's great. That's great. All right, so we're gonna close this beautiful interview.
Oh, thank you
with
so
a-
much for
but
having me.
We're going to close it with you telling me about your relationship with nature and when it started and how it's progressed.
Well, I've always loved being out in woods and stuff. As a kid, I was so active. I used to do cross-country running, and I loved it. Firstly, because I had a lot of stamina and agility, so I could keep going. And also because it was always through fields and sometimes through woods, but obviously woods are can be a bit bumpy, but yeah, through lots of fields and stuff. And I loved it. I just loved seeing everything as I ran around. I've always lived in places, luckily, where there's been lots of nature. In every house that I've lived in, lived in quite a few different places. There's always been parks. There's a lovely castle by where my mum lives, and I lived for many years, which is really nice. I think I got a great relationship with nature because animals always seem to like me, and I love animals, and I'm vegan, so I'm really into. I've been vegan since. Full vegan since
yoga,
December
so you're
2018.
heading in all those directions,
yeah,
aren't you?
I'm going to start doing some filming yoga videos hopefully. And where I live, we've got like 3 lakes within about walking distance from my house. It's amazing. Yeah, it's so nice. I live in North London.
And you feel more. Do you feel when you get into nature? Do you feel more yourself?
Yeah, really, really peaceful. Before lockdown, I used to go out and meditate in nature, but I can do that. I probably could have done that during lockdown anyway, but you weren't allowed to sit in parks and stuff. So I need to start doing that again. And yeah, I'm very lucky as well that my bedroom is quite. It's got windows that are go all the way round. So it's half of the walls of the room are windows, and I get to look out, and it's so nice because we've got a massive park just behind our house, and well, it's not just behind, it's a little walk down the road, but people always walk their dogs. So I've come to recognise different dogs' barks. And I know all the locals now. So it's like I can look out my window and I can hear, like, you know, people in the park, kids in the park. There's a school that's close, so I see all the kids going to school, people walking their dogs. It's just so lovely. And I've also made my bedroom because it's my home. Like, nowhere else that I've lived apart from my mum's has actually felt like a home to me. But where I live now, it is a home. Me and my housemates, we are like a family. So,
And
you know.
it's surrounded by nature.
Yeah, and I've got lots of like natural ornaments. I've got loads of like wall hanging ornaments, flower garlands and all sorts. So my
love to
room
see
is
that
really
someday.
magical. I love it, absolutely love it. And sometimes
Get a
these-
magical room. That's
yeah,
another
no, it really is.
recommendation.
I love it. It's
Create
the
an
most peaceful
environment for
room
yourself.
ever. Yeah, and I love it. Like I burn incense in my room. I have lovely candles, and sometimes there's this tree that's across the road. Oh, this bit's, and it gives off. You know those little dandelion wish things. I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Once, actually, it's happened a couple of times. This towards the start of lockdown. They all came off the tree and were all floating around outside my window, and a load of them, because I had all my windows open because it was so hot, they all started coming into my room, and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
this is amazing. And that was when I was really, really upset because I thought, you know, I'd lost someone I was close to when the stalking was happening. And yeah, and I mean, all these wishes just came into my room, and I was like,
Oh, there you
so
go.
amazing.
That's a good
I
way
see
to
them
end
all the
this
time.
interview.
Yeah.
I wish I
Aw.
could touch you. We can't
know.
hug.
Well, virtual hug, long distance, social distance.
Because
hug.
I'm already crazy about you. I've only
Oh, thank
spent
you.
the last hour with you, but
It's really been an hour.
I don't know. Okay, well, we don't care, do we? Because we've
Yeah,
made
I'm
friends.
cool with that. Yeah, exactly.
Tree woman. We're saying goodbye to all you tree women out there, and you may be next.
Yeah.
You find me some tree women, will you?
You're
Emma?
next. Oh, I know. I do know quite a few people that could do
Okay.
it.
Lots of love. Lots of tree
Bye.
woman love. Bye.